Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Cup and Super Cup Series here on Thursday nights. And tonight we have the Goodies 250 here at Martinsville. And if you know anything about Martinsville, this is a rough and tricky track here. One of the most narrowest corners in NASCAR, shortest track in NASCAR in a lot of ways. Of course, my name is Brian Britt, and I'm joined in the booth by Big Al. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, doing good, Brian. How's it going, man? Just ready to get this nice little short track race here started, man, so we can start the beating and the banging and see what everybody's got for us here tonight.
Well, I'm sure they have a lot in store for us here tonight, just considering this is a cutoff race for the Super Cup Series Championship. Taking a look here at the points coming into this race here. Clayton Hoffman, of course, won last week at the top of the board. He is the only one that is safe right now. Mark Pageant may be safe on points. Going to be really close here, just depending on if someone is in this top 8 wins the race. Matt DeCiani is in third with 4,102 points. Jeffrey Souza, who's top of the board in practice right now, is right now fourth on that cutoff line. He, of course, is only up by 1 point on Al Kozlowski here, so that is going to be a tight battle. Kenny Powell, of course, 3 points behind Al Kozlowski here in 6th place. Mark Sanchez, quite a distance back there. Probably in more of a must-win situation here tonight. Andrew Griesbaum also probably in a must-win situation here tonight. So it's going to be a whole lot of that, Big Al, and I think it's going to be exciting the whole way through.
Absolutely.
Of course, qualifying is now on, trying to take place right now. We see Chris Johnson out there going to be turning some laps. He said this track has been a little bit more tricky here lately. Maybe some bumps that are causing the car to unsettle. So going to have to keep an eye on that here in qualifying. Also, some guys were saying that the 75% fuel tank was changing the handling and making the car squat a little bit more, maybe suffer from a little bit more dragging on the ground. So we've had to see some guys make adjustments during this kind of practice period. And, of course, now we're in qualifying. So, hopefully a lot of these guys have gotten it kind of worked out. Looks like Jeffrey Souza definitely has. So Matt DeCiani right now at the top of the board. Take a look at the Cup Series. Go ahead, Big Al. I'm sorry.
No, I'll wait.
Just taking a look here at the Cup Series standings, because, of course, that is also always ongoing. Mark Pageant is on the top of the board here. Derek Heitman, 2nd place. Matt DeCiani, 3rd. Kenny Powell, 4th. Jeffrey Souza, 5th. 6th place, Greg Wychynski. 7th, Clayton Hoffman. 8th, Al Kozlowski. 9th, Don Avery. And 10th is Andrew Griesbaum. Now, of course, that championship is based strictly on points, none of the playoff cutoff line kind of deals. So that's what makes this Super Cup just so exciting, Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like Mark Sanchez, one of the guys that's in that must-win. He's out there trying to qualify.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a qualifying effort he's going to have there, because on that last lap, he definitely kind of lost it. So that's definitely not going to reflect as a good time for him. So I think he might have to just settle for 8th place.
I've also heard a lot of people talking about how to kind of tackle this race. Even when cautions come out, pitting might not be such the best idea. I mean, tires, they wear. But they said that they do cool down under caution. So we'll have to see how that kind of turns out. Of course, some guys were saying that maybe taking 2 tires could be an idea that I would not expect it to work, but apparently a lot of guys are maybe putting a little bit of faith in that. I mean, could we see 2 tire stops here at Martinsville? Of course, this is a short track. It does, you can go a lap down very easily on pit road here.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why some drivers are going to elect to do the 2-tire stop. You get in, replace 2 tires, come back next time, replace the opposite 2, because a 4-tire stop here is going to be almost impossible to get done. Thank goodness for these drivers. They're going to have a favorable fuel window. It's only going to be, I think it's 115 laps is what we're seeing per tank of gas. So I might have to stop there for that last series, but I'm pretty sure might have some cautions in there.
Yeah, we definitely will, just considering we have the stage breaks. So we're guaranteed some cautions, but Martinsville usually delivers more cautions than just that, as we have stages from 50 and then 100, and then, of course, race ends 250 to 251. 6 tire sets, actually going to be 5 down in the pit, so these guys have available to use. As you mentioned, 115 laps is the fuel window, so fuel not going to be the biggest concern, but you will end up having to pit at some point. So you're not going to be able to just stay out the whole race. That is not going to be possible. Looks like we got a little bit over, or just now a minute left here in qualifying. Mark Sanchez, I think, taking advantage, trying to get some laps in here just to get some repetition. Of course, he just did slap the wall, unfortunately, so hopefully he's able to get that kind of corrected. I do believe conditions of the racetrack do change a little bit once we move over to the race session, but let's go ahead and take a step away, get us ready to get this thing underway. We'll go ahead and play our national anthem. We'll be right back.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Driver, start your engine! Ow. Ew. Ow. Ew.
Want relief from tough pain without the tough taste? Try Goody's Cool Orange. Goody's fast, Goody's delicious, because pain relief shouldn't be a pain to take. Goody's flavors, taking the pain out of pain relief.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the grid set for tonight's event. Andrew Griesbaum, in a must-win situation, qualifies on the front row here. Mark Padgett, of course, going to be starting in second place. Kenny Powell going to be qualified in third here. Matt DeCiani fourth. Fifth place going to be Chris Johnson with Greg Wachinski in sixth place. Seventh place going to be Wayne Grossi with Jeffrey Sousa starting all the way back in eighth. Ninth place, Mark Sanchez and Randy Drumhiller rounding out our top 10.
That's going to put Darren Mullins in 11th with Don Avery along his outside. Al Kowalski has the next row in 13th with Paula Olsen, and 14th, Derek Jacobs and Andrew Layton round out this 16-car field.
Yep, 16 cars going to come out here and do battle. Of course, only I do believe 7 of them have a chance of moving on to the next round. This is going to be utter combat. I mean, these guys starting side by side here at Martinsville, it's not going to stay like that long, just considering this is a track that is known for being pretty single file, and you got to kind of follow right on that guy's back bumper, and hopefully you don't hit him. And then sometimes we might see some contact like that. Big.
Yeah, the biggest thing is going to be trying to make it around turn 1 there, man, and at least until these guys start to get themselves sorted out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough. Of course, the track facts here, it's a 0.49 mile racetrack, so about a half a mile. Air temp is 76, with track temp being 85, so pretty cool. You see a lot of cloud cover out there probably causing that. It's 6 miles to the northwest there is the, I'm sorry, now it keeps going up, 8 miles an hour here winds. So I don't know how much that's going to affect these guys. Could definitely affect them a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, this is not really a big track, so it's not really known for, you know, the wind being the main issue. I think the track itself is going to be really tough. I mean, this is one of you know, NASCAR's oldest tracks here, and you know, it does have that old school kind of feel to it, wouldn't you say? Short track racing for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Short track racing is what it's going to be.
I love the way that, you know, Andrew Griesbaum, I think, coming in clutch here. He needs to be out front right now. I think that only thing is, though, we're going to see some interesting strategies that are going to get some other guys out in front of him, you know, maybe even with pit stops. So that's the one thing about Martinsville I think that a lot of people don't realize is it truly is a lot of strategy when it comes to pit road. You know, you can get a little lucky sometimes. You come down pit road at just the right time and it has a green flag run and you have better tires, or if you stay out and you grab that track position, especially the closer we get to the end, Big Al. Once we get in that final stage, I don't think hardly anybody's going to be willing to actually go down pit road until they absolutely have to.
Yeah, and another thing is it'll be interesting to see how these guys stack up and sort themselves out once we get going. So like you said, it's really a one-dimensional racetrack. So the key is going to be making certain that you don't risk it too much and you don't get taken out, Brian, or you don't mismanage the throttle and take yourself out.
I mean, a lot of people right now are in this getting into the Final Four. I mean, you got Matt DeCiani, you got Mark Pageant, you got Andrew Griesbaum, Kenny Powell. Almost everybody up here has a stake here. Got Al Kozlowski, I believe, going to be starting all the way back in 13th. I talked to him, and he said he was willing to do whatever it took. He knew the points were really close, so we'll have to see what it will take. As we get ready for the pace car to dip down pit road, everybody getting all hyped up and ready as we go hunting for a championship here at Martinsville to kind of prepare ourselves for Phoenix. And there goes the pace car. Going to be dipping down pit road for the first time here tonight. Green flag soon to be waving here at Martinsville Speedway. Tell you what, this is an appropriate name race, the Goodies 250. These guys are going to need a Goodies after this race here as the green flag is out in the air as they race into turn 1. Look at Mark Pageant getting some big runs up on the top side. He might be able to get it here. And he does. He takes the lead on the first lap. Look at that. On the top side, no less. That's rare right there.
Yeah, lots of racing going on, though. Further back in the pack, Greg Watinsky, actually the only one not actually able to get in line yet, as he is trying to duck in behind the 48 of Chris Johnson. Now he's going to have the 7 of Wayne Grassi down, still not going to let him rest. And, oh, look at that, the 14 of Jeffrey Souza. A lot of these drivers that we're mentioning right here are definitely in the must-win column here tonight, so they're going to need to not only have that strong stage finish, but they're going to need to actually have a strong end of race finish as well here, Brian.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine this though. What if a playoff driver that's higher up in the playoff rankings wins this race and it doesn't really change a whole lot? The thing that it would be important for these drivers to get are these stage points. So like when the Al Kozlowski, he has to get stage points. He's only 1 point out removed there from Jeffrey Souza in the points. Jeffrey Souza at this moment is going to go to the next round, but it will depend on where he finishes in these stages.
Those valuable stage points is only the top 10 do transfer over, but Jeffrey Souza, though, he is finding himself all the way back, and I believe to be 7th place. Andrew Griesbaum also kind of he is definitely starting to feel himself. A tremendous effort for him qualifying. Now he's running up in P2. He's got Kenny Powell right behind him, but he understands the necessity. It's almost like it's what's the word I'm looking for? It'll come to me.
I'll tell you exactly what it is, Big Al. We kind of said it. We said it. Yeah, definitely desperation. We said it in they believe the Tuesday night, or Eugenio Alonso in another league that I broadcast for said this best for when it was, because a lot of leagues are getting into that Final Four, part of the season, and he said it was win or die, and that is exactly what Andrew Griesbaum, he finds himself in that unique predicament. He win or no championship. And we haven't seen Griesbaum really in that winning, with that winning speed. I think he could surprise us. I mean, we've seen it before, but he's being hounded right now by Kenny Powell, the 24.
Yeah, the 43 of Paul Osen has made his way down pit road. I think he might be doing a starting park. But
he does have a little damage there.
The two of Mark Padgett, though, completely just putting on a clinic right now. He is out front. He did what he had to do to actually get to maintain the advantage at the start of this thing. And he is definitely, I think, showing us what the advantage of clean air is. As the field's slightly starting to stack up here a little bit behind Griesbaum.
Yeah, they definitely are. I mean, you see Kenny Powell, Matt DeCiani, Chris Johnson all right there. And also a pass for, I do believe, a position here. Jeffrey Souza going to be taking away 6th place. Nice move. This is exactly what Souza needs to be doing right now in that Jimmy Strong pink 14. So he's going to be running down Chris Johnson. A lot of people are going to find it really difficult to pass, but if you're able to do it.
Johnson definitely gets a little bit hard on the brakes there, kind of slid up a little bit. That might cost him a little bit, and it sure does, is that's going to allow Souza to go ahead and get beneath him along with Wayne Grossi.
Grossi fighting back here on the inside, going to be trying to get this 48 behind him. It looks like he's going to do it. So even though he lost the position to Souza, he still got it back up into that 6th place position. But now Souza up into the top 5, and you can see in the tires here, in the spokes, definitely the brake load. This place really just does a number on those brakes.
I think the 48 absolutely got a little bit too much heat in his tires, and that ultimately caused him to kind of have to get out of that thing. The 24 of Powell, though, definitely starting to get a little impatient with the 78 of Andrew Griesbaum, because Powell has the one of Matt DeCiani knocking on his door. So Griesbaum is either going to have to move or get moved, and I think that they're going to be ringing his bell pretty soon here, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, especially like you said, that this is putting the 24 Kenny Powell in a predicament right here. He's got the one right there behind him. So he's got to do something. But what is he going to be willing to do? He easily runs back down Griesbaum. So you could tell that he definitely has more speed than that machine there.
Yeah, absolutely. As we are now 16 laps into the first stage. This first stage will consist of 50 laps here before it is actually in the books. Looks like everybody is moving around here, but Andrew Griesbaum is the talk of the town, I do believe, because he is currently in P2 and has the field kind of behind him. Looks like they're starting to get a little bit of space now, but Mark Padgett definitely showing no signs of slowing down, as that last lap from him was a 19.694. That's almost 2. Sorry, that was 8.04. So he was definitely showing about the fastest pace on the racetrack, if not one of the fastest cars.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is one of the fastest cars. I see exactly what you were saying. But look at DeCiani last time by 19.6 also. So he is really starting to get a lot of pace, but it's just he's blocked by this 24 and the 78. And this is allowing Jeffrey Souza to kind of come up here on DeCiani. Souza also turning some really good laps.
And Souza's lap times, unlike everybody else's, are consistently getting faster. So he has not only found the speed that he needs, but he's definitely got the pace that's going to get him to move up to the front here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know when I was kind of got a message from him earlier about him not being available for comment or anything like that, I was kind of thinking, I was like, dang, does he think that he's going to win stage 1? Because it's the way he definitely has got that attitude, bringing in the confidence. You know what I mean? And you have to be that way when you come to a track like Martinsville. I mean, this is a place where you stick up for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yep. You have to have confidence in anything you do because, I mean, first place you have to win is in your mind because that's definitely going to be the first place you lose it. You know, if you're going to be a winner, you got to think like a winner. You got to eat what winners eat. You got to drive like winners drive, you know, because that's all a part of the recipe for success. It's now Powell definitely has Matt DeCiani reeled up on him, and that's got to be making him feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things about this track is it does make you feel uncomfortable when that guy's all over your rear end. You start looking in your rear view more.
Yeah, originally Powell was putting that pressure under Andrew Griesbaum, but now it seems like Powell might have burned his stuff up a little bit.
Oh, and DeCiani almost gets underneath him, has to check up here. You can tell DeCiani desperate to try to make this pass happen.
Not sure how Kenny Powell's going to feel about that as he's been doing everything he can to gain positions. Nobody wants to lose any. Started this thing in P3 and he is trying to maintain third place, but he's got a lot of challengers there stacking up behind him because also the 14 of Jeffrey Souza, he is still on a little bit of a tear. Not the fastest lap that he has run on that last lap by any stretch of the imagination, but he is still showing consistent pace of that.
Yeah, he definitely is. And Kenny Powell in essentially a must-win right now also, just considering he comes into this race sixth in the points. I mean, he needs to get some good finishes. He needs to get a good finish here. He needs to finish multiple positions in front of Jeffrey Souza and Al Kozlowski, which is going to be difficult. So that's why I say that I think he might be in a must-win here. As he catches back up to Andrew Griesbaum, what's going to happen now that he's caught him again? Is he going to be willing to maybe move him?
Well, we're still just over halfway through this stage, so I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make a bold prediction, and that is the 27 of Derek Jacobs is going to find himself real close to the leader here the next 4 or 5 laps, and that's possibly going to put him at the possibility of going a lap down. Now, once that starts to happen, and Mark Padgett finds himself through the thick of the field, I think he is going to start to be challenged a lot more.
Yeah, especially when he has to deal with a lot of lap traffic. I mean, this is not the place for lap traffic. Guys are already running kind of poorly, and if they have to try to move up the racetrack to get out of your way, that's going to make it even worse because their cars are not built to drive up there.
And furthermore, if the guy was capable of making his car where he wanted to go, he probably wouldn't be getting a lap.
Exactly. Here comes
And here
DeCiani.
comes definitely trying to get on the inside of the 24 Powell, and he right there did make it happen. He is now going to exert his dominance because once you get moved to the outside, you got a problem. Now, Powell's going to be trying to do everything he can to get that 24 Gas and Go Camry back down there on that bottom line because if he is pushed outside, he risks losing more than just one spot, Brian.
Oh, yeah. The dominoes start falling here. I mean, he could even lose all the way back to 6th place there with Wayne Grossi. If he's not able to get down in time, it looks like he's going to go side-by-side here with Jeffrey Souza. DeCiani does complete the pass.
He is definitely not liking the position that he has been put in right now.
I mean, can you blame him? It looks like he might be lucky here to be able to slide down right in front of Wayne Grossi here, but he is dedicated to going side by side and fighting for these positions.
There it is. He was able to get back in, but you see just number 2 things. You see just how hard it is to pass, and you see how hard it is once you get on that outside to get back in.
Yeah, it's just you're almost doomed. I mean, we saw Mark Padgett able to make that heck of a move earlier on the start, but I mean, that's only on the good new tires. I mean, once the tires start wearing, it's harder and harder to run that top side.
Yeah, because you're trying to get that car back down into a position where you can actually get the drive off coming out of the turns. Our leader's already passed Derek Jacobs, so that's going to put Jacobs being one of 2 cars that are a lap down here in this thing.
Next up on the chopping block will be Andrew Layton. But I think he's going to be okay, just considering I think we're going to have 15 laps to go here. this time by in this stage. But you see him on the screen. I mean, Andrew's not that far out in front of Mark Pageant here.
Pageant definitely has his car figured out, man. So he is doing exactly what he needs to do to navigate this track, and I think he's going to drive himself right into a Stage 1 win.
Does seem that way, and we always expect that from Mark Pageant. I mean, it shows a considerable amount of pace. As the battling still happening here, is DeCiani now trying to see what he could do on Andrew Griesbaum. Will he be able to use the same tactics that he used on Kenny Powell?
Well, he is slowly reeling in the 84 Griesbaum, but you notice right behind these guys, Powell is slipping back further and further. Sorry, the 78 of Andrew Griesbaum. I was watching my teleprompter there, and I see that the 84's still trying to maintain his position on the lead lap. And I think he's going to have a fight on his hands, Brian, with 12 laps to go. I think he might get caught by our leader as the 1 and the 14 are battling down for third place.
That was scary. I mean, Jeffrey Souza got a little bit tight there, slid up a little bit, almost had some contact, but he does have the inside line, is going to be moving his way up into third place. Matt DeCiani, realizing he was defeated, drops back and does not lose any more positions. That's got to be a little bit heartbreaking, though, for Kenny Powell, because he could have took advantage of that if he was a little bit closer.
Well, yeah, but the person is definitely in a fight for their life now. It's still going to be the 78 Griesbaum, because now here comes Jeffrey Souza. Souza started all the way back in 8th place. Now he's made his way all the way up into P3. So, yeah, maybe he was letting you know that he wasn't going to be available because, he was planning on being on the podium.
Yeah, I think so. As they actually are catching up to Derek Jacobs. This is going to complicate this quite a bit here, depending on what Jacobs does. It's all depending on when you catch him on the racetrack. Catch him into the corner, it could end poorly.
I still think he's going to be the fly in the Chardonnay here tonight, because he is going to put these guys. Oh, he's going to try to get up out of the way. Definitely going to get out of the way, and he does just that, and going to drop back in front of Powell. Well, hey, way to go, Derek, man. They caught him and this is not an easy track to pass on, but he did exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, just to stay alive there. I mean, and not interfere with this battle. I mean, that literally has the results of the Final Four. This is what it is. I mean, this battle we're watching right now is exactly, going to cause the results of who's going to go for a championship next week.
Yeah, with under 10 laps to go, actually we're going to be down to 5 here at the line. And now the 14 of Sousa has caught up to the 78 Griesbaum. Now, there's been a lot of guys that caught up to Griesbaum here so far in this stage, but no one has been able to get around him.
And that speaks volumes. I mean, he might not be showing the fastest laps. I mean, he's showing some all right laps. He's definitely got some good lap times on him, but it's just he's just so good at holding that position, and he hasn't folded. And I think that's the main thing that Andrew Griesbaum should be applauded for and lauded for tonight, just considering he's not folded. He's had, like you said, so many drivers coming up to his rearview bumper that are, known for leading races here in the ISCA, and he has not given up. I mean, he's just like, I don't care who you are. I'm not going to give you this position. You got to work for it.
Well, Souza is definitely doing just that. It's now he's going to be trying to get on the inside, and he is going to do that. Now he just has to get the drive off, and congratulations to Jeffrey Souza. He is now up to P2.
That he is. But, of course, he has over 3 seconds to get up there to Mark Pageant, so he is not going to be able to catch up to him. Speaking of Mark Pageant, I do believe he's dealing with Andrew Layton right now.
Layton's going to be, just trying to make sure that he can stay on the lead lap, and I don't think Pageant is going to get around him. But the key thing up here for Jeffrey Souza is that he has made it through the crowd, and now he's going to be up front, so he can kind of dictate his own destiny, if you will, just in terms of whether or not he elects to pit.
Yeah, because, of course, you can make it through both of these stages on fuel. I don't know. What is your take? Do you think everybody's going to be coming down? Do you think we're going to see a mixed bag?
Well, just because the lap times are definitely starting to fall off, I think there's going to be a decision position in the field where, maybe if P5 goes, then everybody behind him maybe goes, but I don't think the leaders are going to give up their track position.
Well, here we go. Final lap here of the stage. You got to wait for the top 10, of course, to cross the line. And Mark Sanchez right now 11 seconds back from the leader. But it is going to be Mark Pageant that wins stage number 1 in the Goody's 250 here.
Yeah, that's definitely got to make Pageant feel pretty good about his performances. Jeffrey Souza is going to come in P2. Andrew Griesbaum, P3. Matt DeCiani, P4. Kenny Powell going to be in 5th place. Wayne Grassi, 6th. Chris D. Johnson, 7th. Al Koslowski in 8th. Greg Wachinski in 9th. And Mark Sanchez is going to round out those top 10 points paying positions. So with that, stage 1 is in the books, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a brief step away, get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
You're going back to MMR, right?
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as we have our stage 1 winner here in the booth, Mark Pageant. How's it going, man? Looks like it's going pretty good. You took the lead and started running away there.
Yeah, we got a good car. I'm actually a little surprised I was able to get around Andrew on the outside of all places, but maybe he cut me a break there.
Yeah, that was really interesting. You think it could also maybe helped you out? You had newer tires because it seemed like no one else was able to make a move like that later.
Yeah, maybe. Or I've run a lot this week. Maybe I was just really comfortable sending it in there on the outside. But either way, Andrew had a good run there. I'm a little surprised as quick as he is, but we got a good car, so we'll see how this plays out.
Well, it definitely shook up the field a little bit here. Jeffrey Souza had worked his way all the way up to 2nd place from 8th place. Does that concern you at all?
No, we've got very similar setups in our cars, so that's a teammate. So I'm not surprised at all. He's working his way up here.
So you probably want to see him, have a good points night, just considering he is so close to that cut line right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think after winning that stage, I'm basically locked in myself. So, yeah, I'm just out here going to try to win the race, but if I can help Jeff in any way, I'll do that too.
All right, man. Well, I know you guys are getting ready to get back going here. Who can we give a quick shout-out to?
Yeah, thanks to Triad Racing Enterprises. Good set this week, guys, and our sponsor, Susan Media Stint Analyzer. Thanks, guys.
All righty, that was Mark Pageant as we get to call for the green flag here. The pace car down pit road. Chris Johnson making up a lot of spots here.
There's Pageant, man. He gets a blistering head start there. And that Chris Johnson definitely stacked up to 14. Now the 14 is going to be trying to get that run on the outside. We are wrecking the 5 of Greg Wachinski goes around. That does bring out the caution.
Yeah, it does. And as you can see, Chris Johnson actually took 2 tires on that stop, 9.1 in the box. Let's see exactly what happened here with Greg Wachinski.
Well, that wreck was going to happen somewhere around this racetrack.
Taking a look back at it because it happened right at the start, essentially. Got a little bit of a camera view here to see exactly what took place, if there was any contact that maybe sent the 5 around. Oh, yeah. Looks like he just maybe didn't get going good enough here. And then the 11 just did not maybe know his braking point, smashed right into the 5.
Oh, I think he created a new breaking point right there as he made contact. That was more like 5-ball corner pocket.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I think maybe the 11 just broke way too late and, sent the 5 up. I mean, Greg Wachinski can't be too happy about that.
Yeah, but, I don't think Avery did it intentionally. I don't think Don Avery would have been. It wasn't malicious. I think he just kind of like missed his breaking point there and just kind of plowed into the back of the 5.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that's definitely the case.
Andrew Layton's going to be coming off of pit road. Not sure what was going on with the 84. Oh, Wachinski loses it a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that. We were just seeing that. Thought his engine had blown there, but apparently it didn't.
No, Paul Olsen, though, unfortunately, he is. I'm going to tell you exactly what has happened to Paul Olsen.
Tell us what happened to Paul Olsen as we watch this back on this second incident.
Yeah, I think Greg Wachinski was trying to get down in the pit road there. Just came in a little bit hot. But yeah, Paul Olsen, apparently he did the start and park thing, but he left his car running, so that is going to cause his engine to expire.
So that's the sound I heard.
Yeah, that would have been the sound that you heard, the sound of Olsen's chances going up in flames.
Yeah, of course, Greg Wachinski looks like he's staying out in order to not lose a lap here. I mean, he looks like he's got significant damage. Do you think this is a good call?
I think it's the only call he can make. I mean, this is a short track, so these cars definitely, as long as there's nothing broke, he's going to lose a lap if he does go back down pit road. So I think this is the best call he could make.
I definitely think you're probably onto something there. As looks like the field has changed up a little bit here. Jeffrey Souza now going to be starting on the high side here with Mark Pageant, of course, your leader. Chris Johnson has fallen back into third after that poor restart. Green flag getting ready to fly back out in the air as they enter the Geico restart zone, and there it is.
Far better start for the rest of the field on that one. And Souza picked right up where he needed to be. Didn't really miss a beat. It seemed like the 48 kind of got caught sleeping there on that restart. But that cost him a couple positions, at least one position. But now he's going to be back up there trying to make that happen. Now look at Kenny Powell now. He's pulled himself all the way back up.
Grease bomb into the wall.
Making some contact with that outside retaining wall.
Yeah, that's definitely not good in the slightest. Had done so well getting some stage points.
Yeah, we'll be watching Griesbaum now to see if he slips back, because that'll let us know exactly what track positions is doing. As Keselowski is going to be coming around, looks like the 64.
Yeah, I haven't got to talk a lot about Al Keselowski here tonight. Of course, he is in a must-win situation now. He's worked his way up into the top 10, I do believe 8th place now, is Wayne Grossi on the inside of the 64.
Yeah, now here's what's going to be interesting. I just want to see how much track position is going to play here for the 78, because he did start, a little bit higher up in the field here on this stage. He's already starting to fall back a little bit. So, I want to see, how patient is Keselowski going to be when he gets up there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how that kind of all turns out. I mean, definitely that damage hitting that wall might not affect him too much, but then again, I mean, these cars are deceptive with how the damage affects them. Because look at Al Keselowski getting a huge run. He's catching him quickly. I bet Andrew definitely knows it.
Keselowski is definitely going to have to get through the field, and he is going to have to make up because he didn't do too good in that last stage. So he has definitely got to get higher up in the order and grab some stage points, because otherwise he's going to hear tick-tock, because there's only going to be 2 positions left, Brian.
We also see Matt DeCiani right here with Kenny Powell. So Powell was able to get in front of DeCiani, because DeCiani actually, with his pit stop, I believe 14.4 seconds in the box. Kenny Powell spent 14.1. So that was enough to get Kenny Powell out in front of DeCiani here. We'll have to hold on, see if Kenny can hold on to it, because when we saw this in the last stage, Kenny wasn't able to keep that position.
Yeah, he was not. It seems like his car definitely started showing signs of wear a little bit prematurely. So I don't know if maybe he made some adjustments on that thing, but he's definitely got to figure it out, because this stage a little bit shorter than the last, a lot shorter than the next.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And we even saw a caution that kind of split it up a little bit there. That unfortunate, but so far it's been very clean. And not what you expect at Martinsville, but look at Kenny Powell go. He's catching up there to Chris Johnson. Now, of course, Chris Johnson was one I was talking to in the beginning of the before the race started. He said
Johnson slides up.
Of course, that was kind of what I was alluding to. He took 2 tires there, Big Al, and he mentioned that was going to be one of his strategies because he heard that was something that was possible that would work. So I'm not sure if it doesn't seem like it worked this go around, because maybe he's having some handling conditions.
No, it's not working too good for him now, boss. Mr. George. I think that was the bad pit call.
Well, Mark Pageant has not gotten out to as much of a lead as he had before. He is now about 7/10 out in front of Jeffrey Souza, but of course these two, like he mentioned, are teammates. Mark did say he wanted to win this race, though. So, I mean, even though they're teammates, I think in the closing laps of this whole race, they're maybe not going to be as much of teammates.
Well, and the thing is going to be, can Souza get in front of Paget? He's not going to gift it to him, you know what I mean? But I think he'll definitely help him. But he said if he had a chance to win it, then win it he would do. And then I think that's the way it's looking like it's going to play out. Now, for whatever
Kozlowski trying to work on the 78 of Andrew Griesbaum, Wayne Grossi right there behind him.
Yeah, further back in the pack for whatever reason, the 84 now, he seems to be off the pace a little bit, as it's going to be a little bit faster, I think, when the leader actually catches lap traffic. I just don't know how he's going to handle it this time around.
Oh, we just saw some smoke out of the 78. That was interesting. Maybe lock the tires up as Al Kozlowski dives it in door to door for that 7th place position. And Al Kozlowski takes it. More contact. Wayne Grossi into the 78. I'm telling you, Andrew Griesbaum just got the combo on him just now.
Well, and that's what I was wondering, because like I said, he actually was able to maintain P2 for the entire first stage, and it was right there at the end when he actually lost it. So I was wanting to see how far back he was going to slide back in the pack, and he's all the way back in the 9th place now. So definitely a big difference between the second stage and the first.
Yeah, that crew has got to do something. Whatever it is, I mean, Hail Mary pass at the end of this race, that is exactly what Griesbaum needs. He has to win. There is no pointing his way in this race, Big Al. He has to win. And so, I mean, he might have to do some type of bonsai maneuver later in this thing. I'll tell you what, it's going to get nothing but excitement as we have 80 laps into this event right now. I do believe 20 to go here in the stage when we cross the line. Of course, Al Kozlowski now trying to work his way up to Don Avery, and he is doing it quickly.
Yeah, Avery, though, probably won't contest this because I don't think he is not in the playoffs. So
I don't know. I mean, Avery, I wouldn't say he's just known to be letting people go, but we'll have to see. I mean, he probably knows how Al Kozlowski is, though. He's not going to take no for an answer, and that's what you kind of need to get into the Final Four.
I mean, I'm going to ask you this question. Are you going to go out here and race Kozlowski hard at this stage in the race?
If I don't need to get good positions, I probably wouldn't, no.
All right. Because number 2, man, you don't want to be that guy. And I'm not talking about Don Avery. I'm just saying in general. You don't want to be that guy that takes out a playoff driver.
No, definitely not. Yeah, 100%. Well, the fight for the lead is starting to heat up here. Jeffrey Souza is caught up to the 0-2 of Mark Pageant. See Souza running a little bit higher here, diamonding the corners. I love what I'm seeing from Souza right here. He is running high on entry, and then just builds the momentum and then dives it down to get a very fast exit. And it's working wonders for him right now. Of course, Matt DeCiani still in the fight here, trying to get by Kenny Powell. Of course, DeCiani right now third in the points. Still not safe, though.
Powell definitely needs to make that 24 as wide as possible to keep DeCiani behind him. The last thing he needs is any of these guys that are in that chase for the Final Four, any of those 8 drivers getting by him, because that is just not going to help his cause at all, Brian.
No, not at all. As we see, the tires definitely have fallen off quite a bit here. Definitely got to applaud Chris Johnson, though. Once the tires, I think, balanced out, once the heat got kind of balanced in those newer tires versus the older tires, I think he's been able to do just fine. I mean, last time by, he was just as fast as everybody around him, even faster than the leader, I do believe.
No, I think the leader was that last lap he was. The lap prior to that, though, the leader's lap was a lot faster. So they, for whatever reason, they just slowed down on that last lap tremendously.
Well, they're dealing with lap traffic also, probably has something to do with it. Or they will be dealing with lap traffic. They got someone right in front of them, I do believe. Derek Jacobs and Andrew Layton. As Kenny Powell has been absolutely dueling right now with Matt DeCiani.
Yeah, the 48 definitely running pretty good there, even though, he only took 2 tires. So maybe that is the call. Maybe he'll take the 2 opposites the next time.
Yeah, I mean, only thing is depending on which side you take, that kind of, will tell you what the handling is going to be like. I mean, if you took, one side, you might be tight. You take the other side, you'd be loose,
Oh, just a little door bang there between the 11 of Don Avery and the 88 of Al Kozlowski. Kozlowski tried to come in and make the pass. Avery was given plenty of room. I think Kozlowski just kind of slid up a little bit.
Yeah, so that's going to give Al Kozlowski, I do believe, that 6th place position, as now Don Avery getting passed by Wayne Grossi.
And in the back of the frame there, you will see the 78 of Andrew Griesbaum back behind Don Avery in 9th place.
Yeah, Andrew Griesbaum definitely had a awesome qualifying effort. Qualified on the pole, which should actually give him extra points, but points are not what he needs. He needs to win. As Mark Pageant has been in control of this race since the green flag essentially flew, even though Andrew Griesbaum started on the pole. Mark Pageant led the first lap, was able to make an extraordinary pass. Now he comes up to lap traffic. Andrew Layton going to be under fire here shortly.
Yeah, so at some point, though, I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, are we saving fuel? Or what are we doing? The fuel and tires don't matter? We're just letting it all hang out? What are we doing?
Well, I mean, tires and fuel, I'd say, do matter. But, I mean, fuel, maybe not quite as much. I mean, after this stage here, of course, we have 5 laps to go in the stage, 4 when we cross the line. But, I mean, gas, of course, is going to matter. 115 laps is what you can do. So you're going to have to make a green flag pit stop if that final stage goes green the whole way. So that would make me think that these guys are going to have to do that. I mean, green flag pit stops are pretty rare at Martinsville. If we do see that, I would be kind of surprised, though, just considering after this stage we're going to get lined all back up again, and everybody's going to be fighting for position like they've never been fighting before. You know what I mean?
Yep, well, kudos to Al Kozlowski as he's made it all the way up into 5th place here.
But the bad thing for Al Kozlowski, he's 5th in the points right now. Jeffrey Souza is in 4th. Jeffrey Souza has gotten good finishes in both stages. Al has not gotten a good one in stage 1, and Jeffrey is 3 positions ahead of him right now.
Yeah, I know. I kind of see that, but you don't have to just dash Keselowski's hopes and dreams. I was trying to give him positive press.
If he's listening to us, yeah, I guess we should. Don't give up. I mean, Al's going to do what Al does.
Yeah, this stage will be over here the next lap, so white flag this out. Yeah, it looks like Gadget's going to go ahead and get the second one of 2 tonight. Well, he's 2 for 2.
He definitely is 2 for 2 here. Let's see if he can pull the whole thing here. As the yellow flag is out for the stage. Jeffrey Souza, of course, coming in second place. What was that, Big Al? I'm sorry.
I was just saying, Mark Sanchez coming in right at the nick of time there in 10th place again for the second stage in a row.
Yeah, definitely. But he is also in that must-win category. Jeffrey Souza, though, comes home in second place. Kenny Powell in third. Matt DeCiani fourth. Fifth place, Al Kozlowski. Sixth place, Chris Johnson. Seventh place, Wayne Grossi. Eighth place, Don Avery. Ninth place, Andrew Griesbaum. And like you mentioned, running our top 10, Mark Sanchez. Those are going to be the stage points there. Everybody, it looks like, for the most part, is coming down pit road to probably grab a fresh set of tires and fill that tank up and get ready for a long run. But with that, we'll go ahead and take a brief step away. We'll be coming back with whoever Big Al decides he wants to talk to.
Ow. Ew. Ow. Ew.
Want relief from tough pain without the tough taste? Try Goody's Cool Orange. Goody's fast, Goody's delicious. Because pain relief shouldn't be a pain to take. Goody's flavors, taking the pain out of pain relief.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tough, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We are back. I do believe we're going to chat with somebody really quickly. We don't have a whole lot of time, but Big Al, I think, wants to talk to Matt DeCiani.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Big Al up at the booth, man. How's it going down there?
Pretty good so far.
When you find yourself in a must-win situation, I'm not going to talk to you too long, but do you think tire wear is going to play into your strategy at all here as we get ready to go for the long haul?
The wear is non-existent, but there is fall-off. So I mean, the tires don't wear, but I don't know, they just heat up and they're fall-off. So, but yeah, it's tires. I think everyone will take tires here.
All right, man. Hey, who you going to shout out to before we let you go so you can get back to work?
Thanks to you guys in the booth, and yeah, thanks DPI.
All right, man. Good luck to you, and hopefully we'll get the chance to talk at you at the end of this thing.
Thanks.
That was Matt DeCiani. He's our, I do believe, fourth place right now. Definitely in the hunt for a championship this year. As we look for the green flag to come out here, Kenny Powell makes up a lot of positions on pit road now, up to second, but Mark Pageant able to just get a good launch.
And Powell definitely has to shoot his shot here because he has got to get out up front and be able to see if he can maintain that position. But he's going to be battling Souza right now, and both of these guys are in that must-win. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
I don't know. I think that Souza has gotten enough points. I don't know if he is in a must-win anymore. I think that if he keeps doing what he's doing, if he holds off Kenny Powell, he's going to be good to go. But the one he needs to be worried about Kenny Powell. He needs to be worried about Al Kozlowski because both of those are outside looking in. I mean, Kenny Powell is sixth place in the points right now. Al Kozlowski is fifth. And both of them coming into this race were only like 5 points away from each other. I would not be surprised to see some points moving around, but I think that Jeffrey Souza has cemented his position a lot better than the rest of those guys have, Big Al.
Still a lot of racing left to go here.
Very much so. I mean, we're just, now 110 laps into this event. Not even the halfway point. Is Al Kozlowski underneath Kenny Powell.
Kozlowski did say he would do whatever it took to win. So, I didn't say that. I'm just saying that's what you said. He said.
I mean, that's what he said.
Now, Powell's going to definitely want to hold DeCiani back as well, because all of this is just reeks of playoff implications. As Don Avery goes high on the track, and he is going to be letting Wayne Grossi know. Not sure what that's about, but like you said, Avery's not usually one to just be handing out positions like candy.
Yeah, definitely. Here comes Matt DeCiani, though, going to be up to the back of Kenny Powell. Something wrong here with Powell as he drops back. He's going to let him have that position. Didn't even fight at all.
I don't know. Is he in conservation mode?
Could very well be the case. Maybe this is a strategy call. I mean, these guys know a whole lot more than we do up here in the booth, Big Al. That's for sure. I mean,
well, this is going to be the longest run that these guys have had here this evening. And I think everybody's pit strategies are going to pretty much mirror each other's, right?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, the thing, I don't. He even said that there's tire fall off, but the tires aren't wearing that much. So, I mean, it seems like it's plateauing at a certain level when it comes to the lap times. So I would assume there could be various different strategies we see here. Guys try to, as soon as the window opens, go down, or maybe go long, and hopefully that you can put enough good laps down. And when you do come in, you'll be able to come out in front of them.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of strategy, a lot of wiggle room here. I think we could see.
Yeah, that's why they call them strategies, right? We got to give them a chance to unfold. Speaking of unfolding, the 31 of Mark Sanchez considerably off the pace. I mean, that's he finds himself like on the same straight as the leaders. Not sure what happened there.
He's also in a must-win situation, so it is not looking good for that 31 team right now.
Well, he should be, if he wants to lead this thing, I think it needs to
turn it
go
up
around one more time around, and then he'd be the leader. But that's the wrong way to lead a lap right there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's going to definitely need some major adjustments in that race car. Something definitely not handling correctly there. But Matt DeCiani, after getting by Kenny Powell, is now caught up to Al Kozlowski. Of course, this is the first time we've seen really Al up in the top three. DeCiani has been somewhat of a staple up here in the top 5, top 3 range. Let's see what that Chevy does. This is going to be the battle of the Chevys, really, because both of these guys are Chevys. It's still 2 different teams. Definitely want to be as smooth as you possibly can going around these corners. I mean, the lower you can get and the closer you get to that curb, Mark Pageant still out front, almost halfway in this race, 122 laps in. Jeffrey Souza still pretty close to Mark Pageant here. Al Kozlowski trying to still hold on to that 3rd place position. Kenny Powell desperate to make it his way forward, but looks like he has a different strategy here. This race definitely flying right on by as we now cross the line for lap 125. That will seal the deal for the halfway point. We are now 125 laps into this thing. Still 125 to go, I should say. Of course, the fuel window.
And I'm beered up and ready to go. And I saw it. It showed up on the.
Yeah. But here we go. Time to keep the racing going here. This race is sponsored by Busch Light.
Yeah, because sometimes you just need a beer.
Definitely. But racing is still going on here as you see Andrew Griesbaum trying to make up some spots here. He's been running pretty good in this part of the race. He's catching up here to Chris Johnson and Don Avery there.
Yeah, but see, here's the worst part. The worst thing that could happen to the 31 is he is actually getting ready to go a lap down. And that's not going to help his chances out at all, Brian.
I mean, he's got literally Pageant and Souza right there sniffing at his back door.
Yeah, not sure what actually happened to cause him to be at the tail end of the field like that. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to do some investigating into that to figure out what took place.
You don't see any damage here. I mean, could it have just been a loose situation? I mean, we have heard of some guys have self-spins at this place. And maybe he just, got a little loose, saved it, but lost a lot of time. And could very well be the case. He's still got a little bit of pace here. He's able to kind of pull away a little bit from Pageant here. Let's see how long this lasts.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting for his life. That's going to be the big thing. Is the 84, I do believe, is out of the car and out of the race as well.
Taking a look at the lap times here. I mean, Mark Sanchez is hitting lap times that are comparable to these guys, only about a half a tenth slower than so far. So,
yeah, it didn't seem like he had any damage. It just, I mean, for whatever reason, he was just way at the tail end of the field.
Yeah, not quite sure.
If he does lose this position, I mean, it's gonna be really hard to gain it back because it's not showing any signs of that we're gonna have another caution in this thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think he's just in a bad place right now. He kind of needs a caution. That's kind of what he needs. He's just trying to hold on. But the bad thing is Mark Pageant is, probably going to be under fire here from Souza here if he keeps getting held up.
Okay.
It looks like, yep, there he goes, down to the bottom.
And unfortunately for him to add even more insult to that injury, there's nobody in front of Pageant now. So he is going to literally have just clean air and opportunity for a long time before he catches up to Drumhiller.
Yeah, definitely. As we have fallen off to a lot of drivers hitting 20-second laps. Of course, we started out with most of them hitting 19.3s. So tire wear is a thing here.
And so here's another question. So how does this work for the 31 who is a playoff driver, right? But he's also a lapped car now.
Well, he definitely is in a very precarious situation. As I mentioned it before, Mark Sanchez is the definition of in a must-win right now. I mean, he is all the way down in 7th in the points, outside of the cut line by a large margin.
Yeah, and minus some mini miracle, he probably will not have a chance.
You hate to see it. I mean, unfortunate. I mean, thought this would be a good track for him. He's been showing a lot of pace over the last few weeks. And, of course, in order to be into the Final 8, you have to be having some type of pace here. So we see Jeffrey Souza gets wicked loose off of turn 4.
As did Al Kozlowski, and so that allowed Matt DeCiani to kind of run on the inside of him. Kozlowski's going to probably attempt a crossover here, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get that position back.
Kenny Powell now going to be hoping the door opens for him as he gets loose.
And he is loose. And so the biggest thing that I was saying, not to keep bringing up or belaboring the point with the 31, but he is now going to be slipping through the field. And when we look at this racetrack, it's gonna get a little tricky because we're eventually going to have cars on different laps because of pit strategy. You're going to have lap traffic mixed in there. You're going to have playoff traffic mixed in there. But Neil, it's a pretty big deal that a playoff driver becomes a lap car this early on into this sequence here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, there's going to be more lap traffic too. I mean, and it's going to be to where everybody is kind of mixed and matched there. And, guys with maybe faster pace are going to be trying to get around someone, and they're not going to be wanting to be willing to give that position up. It's very difficult to pass here. So, I mean, it's all going to really depend on, where your head's at. And a track like this also, not even the physical, strain that you would have at a track like this. Because, I mean, this is a tough track when it comes to you having to brake really hard. I mean, your ankle could start, hurt and stuff like that. Having to turn every 20, seconds, twice or whatever. And but also it gets on you mentally when you say Big Al. I mean, after a while, a guy holding you up long enough, you get angry.
I mean, and it also depends on what the equipment that you're running. I mean, if you're running a direct drive wheel. You're getting beat up pretty good around this racetrack, especially, especially with the bumps.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you got a direct drive wheel, the thing probably feels like it wants to snatch it out of your hand, and you having to wrangle it.
Yeah, that gets a little tedious out there about 250 laps as well.
And if you feel like you're not having the best race and you feel like, oh, my setup's not that good, I don't know what to do, you start to get a little upset in that regard too, not even just being able to pass someone. So that might make a lap car want to race someone a little bit harder because they're upset.
Yeah, the 5 car, Greg Wachinski's coming down pit road now. And that's a whole other animal, green flag pit stops, because they are going to come.
Now, we are in the window technically. 146 laps into the event. We're verging on 100 laps to go here in just 5 laps. So fuel window we mentioned before, 115 laps. So we are in that window that you can pit and be done with it and run your way to the end. I just don't see how these guys are going to run 100 and something laps and not take a set of tires,
Well, Wachinski in and out pretty quick.
Yeah, let's see how long he spent. 9.8 seconds, so I would assume he took 2 tires.
And now Wayne Grossi has made his way past Al Kozlowski down. He is reeling in the 24 Kenny Powell.
Grossi looking really good. And one thing about it, he is not a playoff driver right now. He got kind of kicked out in a couple races ago. But he is looking really fast in that Pennzoil 7 here at Martinsville, wouldn't you say? Because he is definitely hounded Kenny.
Kozlowski is not having a good time right now. Something is I will be surprised if we did not see him coming down pit road sooner than later.
Maybe just got on the tires a little bit too much. It's easy to get them heated up, or even maybe brake heat. I mean, I think that the sim might simulate that too. If you're on those brakes constantly, I mean, and you're on them too hard, driving into the corner real hard,
you'll get brake fade. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just think maybe he is probably trying to get the heat out of those tires a little bit.
Possibly, but he's losing positions that he desperately needs. Considering the man that he needs to have a bad race, Jeffrey Souza, sitting in second right now and is essentially safe if he finishes where he is. So Al, seeing the championship 4 hope, kind of just starting to drain away. He's got to be getting into that desperate mind space. Get creative, Sometimes that's all it takes. We've seen people win races by being creative,
Yeah, well, the most creative thing he could do at this juncture is not to lose any more positions, even though I do believe the next driver that would affect anything would be the 78 of Andrew Griesbaum. But, man, look at Padgett and Souza go. These guys are definitely getting it done, as there is quite a ways back to third place, Matt DeCiani.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, it is quite a bit of distance there. I believe over 3 seconds right now.
And you've got Wachinski and the 31 in between them. So you got Wachinski and Sanchez in between the leader and third place. And guess what? They're slowly catching the next group of cars that are going to be going a lap down.
Yeah, I do believe you're talking about, John Mullins or Darren Mullins, Randy Drumhiller, Derek Jacobs. Of course, Derek Jacobs is already a lap down, but he's still right there with these guys. So still a 3-car. I mean, I know that the 64 and the 44 can probably see these guys. They're coming. We need to settle this out and focus ahead because they are going to be putting us a lap down here. Of course, these are not drivers that are fighting for the championship 4.
And here comes Greg Wachinski now. He is caught up to Jeffrey Souza, and he's going to be wanting to get by because, whether he is on fresher tires or fresher 2 tires, he's definitely going to be wanting to put his pony in the win.
Yeah, definitely. As he gets on the inside of Jeffrey Souza, Souza's just going to have to relent here. Souza goes way up the racetrack.
Yeah, and I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, there's no sense of agitating the guy. He's got fresher tires. And these guys, of course, at this point, they're probably starting to figure out what their pit strategy is going to be. Because, I mean, what are you thinking here, Brian, as we are within that pit window? Meaning, should the caution flag come out, we'd have enough fuel right now if the drivers were to pit to actually finish this thing. But when are you coming? Are you going to wait to the end of this thing? Because right now, everybody's still sitting around 56, 57 laps on their equipment. So although they're in the longest run that they've had here thus far of the evening, do you run 40 more laps on that and run the short end of the stick to the finish?
Well, I mean, I think that it could be a valuable, a valid strategy, just considering. I mean, the tires are plateauing. I mean, the only thing we're falling off to 20.1, 20.2, 20 flat, somewhere in there. That's what most of the drivers are right at. They're 56, 58 now, or 59 laps into this run. So I would assume I would probably wait another 15, 20 laps and try to split it in half.
That's about where I was at. My calculations said that you'd be coming in about another 20 laps.
Just to get, to where you split the tires up, There is some wiggle room there, though. I mean, you could just, if you're finding that your car's not falling off as much as all the other drivers out there, and you feel like you could just hang on, then, that's not a bad call. You just kind of drop down pit road, take your 2 tires and get going, and then get back out there. Because, I mean, you plateau, and you just not going to, if you don't start running really, really slow laps, then why? It's like, everybody is going to fall off at somewhat the same rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. As the leader slowly is catching up to the 27. Oh, the 64 actually goes down pit road.
So we do have more green flag stops.
Yep, the 44 of Drumhiller is still going to stay out there. He is going to try to run. But speaking of wiggles, the 14 definitely having his hands full as he has gotten loose a couple of times.
He definitely has, but he's still fast. He's right there on that 02's rear end.
Yeah.
You remember when Greg got by him, Greg Wachinski got by him. He, kind of fell off a little bit. Fell off to about 5 car lengths, but then worked his way right back up to Mark Pageant here. Of course, Greg Wachinski, though, has gotten his lap back and is only 1 lap down now. So, I don't know. Keep that 5 in mind. He might be on to something here. But could that be a condition we keep seeing from Souza?
Yeah, the 31, though, he's showing, the same pace as the leaders since they passed them. So, not sure what his issue was. But that's got to be disheartening to know that you're running the same pace with these guys. Just a lap down.
And another thing too is Matt DeCiani is catching up to those 2 leaders. DeCiani has been looking really good the last few laps, and now he's about 2 seconds back from Mark Pageant.
Yes,
now, go ahead.
I think the best thing these guys are doing right now is just kind of relaxing, not over extending themselves, not burning up their equipment, man, and just being conservative, because right now they're all about 66 laps into this run, with the exception of the 64 of Darren Mullins and the 5 of Wachinski. Everybody else is still pretty much on the same sequence.
Yeah, now 170 laps into this race. I mean, I do believe we're going to have 80 laps to go here. Of course, we are 69 laps into this run. So, yeah, it's going to be really soon. I'm saying the next 10 laps, we're probably going to see a lot of these drivers come down pit road. Let's see what Pageant and Souza, they're going to be the trendsetters, Big Al.
Yeah, I just was watching Grease Bomb as he had just let Darren Mullins by. Mullins on faster tires right now, so he is definitely getting it done. Leader slowly catching up to the 44 of Randy Drumhiller, and that'll put Drumhiller a lap down.
And, of course, Andrew Griesbaum right now is almost 10 seconds back from the lead. Not the day that team needed in that 78 camp.
Yep, and once they do catch up and pass the 44 of Randy Drumhiller, that's going to put only 9 cars on the lead lap right now.
Yeah, and it's looking like it's getting ready to happen any time now. As you see Mark Pageant right there behind him. 44 getting ready to see what he does. I mean, does he fight for it?
No, I don't think you do. I mean, I think you go high and let them pass low.
No signs of that. Looks like Randy Drumhiller trying to hold on to this position. We'll have to see. I mean, I know Drumhiller not the type to want to get in the way of a playoff race. He's not showing terrible speed. I mean, I've been impressed with Drumhiller this season. He's been doing a great job.
I'd probably pit. I mean, I would say this is the perfect time right here, and I would just come right on in here and pit.
Yeah, because, I mean, this is the perfect time. This is halfway between the run there. I mean, we're now 75 laps into the stint. You know, a little bit under 75 to go. This is the time.
At least that way he can take advantage of however long he has fresh tires and try to make up some time.
So far, it looks like a lot of guys deciding they're going to stay out. Probably in hopes of a caution, which still could happen.
No, I think they're going to burn it all the way down to the short end of this thing. You know, you stay out as long as you can here, get that to a manageable 50 laps, you know, if you can. And then you put back in your stage 1 setup.
Looks like Drumhiller's starting to pull away a little bit here from Pageant as we kind of look on board here through the cockpit camera of Mark Pageant. Kind of see what the inputs look like. See, heavy on the brakes, and then you gradually get back on it. You got to be real. I mean, there's a lot of steering wheel movement, but you got to be really specific on what you're doing with that wheel and what you're doing with those pedals. You got to be gradual. As it looks like here comes Pageant. He's pitting.
Leader pit road. I mean, you got to figure, too, these guys are running almost a second off of their best time. So that doesn't seem like a lot, but on a short track, I mean, that is a pretty measurable distance, you know.
100%. Let's hopefully he gets on the pit road just fine here.
I mean, this is the painful part, having to go around there so slow because, I mean, the race continues.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeffrey Souza now coming down pit road. And we see that Paget is at least taking right side tires. That's all he's taking.
No, he's taking four.
Taking 4. Interesting strategy there.
We'll see what Souza does here.
similar setup, so I'm assuming they're both going to go for 4. It's Don Avery now is coming down pit road. So, yeah, safe to assume that green flag pit stops have officially began. But Randy Drumhiller, he's not coming in. He is definitely going to try to run all the way back around there to get as close to getting his lap back as possible.
Well, yeah, you also got to keep in mind there's going to be a lot of the guys that are just now pitting. They're going to be coming up on some slower cars with older tires, and that's all the opportunity caution needs right there. As Matt DeCiani now leads the field. Of course, he has got no one really pressuring him right now. He's got about over 4 seconds on Kenny Powell.
Yep, Andrew Griesbaum also down on pit road.
Wonder what he does. He's going to have the box closest to the end of pit road here. And that's what's difficult about this track, Big Al. I mean, you got that curved pit road. It's very easy to speed through there. It's easy to miss your box, but looks like Griesbaum has no troubles.
Yeah, Chris Johnson down pit road.
Chris Johnson, of course, like you said. Avery trying to get around Mark Sanchez here. Trying to catch up there to Matt DeCiani.
Yeah, Avery being shown some 2 laps down here tonight. We hadn't mentioned O'Donn's name a lot.
He's running down Matt DeCiani. This is where you can see the big difference in the tires is Avery makes it by him like he's not moving here. So, the guys are saying, we talked to Pageant earlier. He said the tires really didn't matter. I don't know if that's really the case as DeCiani now does come down pit road. So almost a full cycle.
Yeah, it's a full second, though. Like I said, that's a big deal on a short track.
It very much is here.
Oh, the 7 of Grassi gets a loose there. He's sliding her around. I think he was actually able to keep it going. Probably made a lot of people nervous right there.
Yeah, for sure. As he's actually going to bring it on down pit road. That only leaves Kenny Powell and I do believe Al Kozlowski out on the track.
And they're going to go for the advantage of having fresher tires for a shorter period of time.
As we do have, I do believe, a little under 60 laps to go now. Kenny Powell, your leader, going to get some extra points for leading laps here. As you can see, Jeffrey Souza on the new tires glides right around him. Like Kenny Powell, even if he wanted to fight Souza right there, he couldn't have. That's the difference. That's where the little bit of wiggle room you have there with your pit strategy. He's got to hope that when he catches back up to these guys, if he does, he has a similar experience, getting around them quickly.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I totally love what they're doing because they're running their long setup. You know what I mean? Their long run right now, and then they'll go back in and you got your faster setup that you can put in because you know what it'll do in 50 laps. But Powell struggled a little bit though, if you remember there with that short setup. And Kozlowski didn't have the best of finishes either through the first 2 stages. So, I mean, maybe their cars are set up for the long run.
Well, I'll tell you what. On pit road, on and off, we saw Mark Pageant spent 14.7 seconds in the box. Jeffrey Souza spent 14.1. Even though Pageant was slow. Oh, the 78 round.
That's going to bring out the caution, and that right there
is going to change everything.
It could be. I mean, that is almost like taking the sugar and replacing it with salt when you're making Kool-Aid.
See exactly what happened here with this 78. Coming off of the corner, I do believe it just got loose. Could it have been contact? But here comes the 7. Boom. Oh, no, he didn't hit him. 78 should be fine. I think he caught a little bit of that curbing. Let's take another look at this.
But you know what? He did not hit anything. So kudos on Griesbaum for keeping him between the dotted dash white lines.
Take a look at this from a different point of view. You see the 7 almost got into him, but then he caught a little bit of the curb. Just a tiny little bit of that curb. and it sent him around. But like you said, he didn't hit anybody, so that is going to be, good driving there for him, because that could have been a bad situation as we have a caution now as we're going to restart with 50 to go, Big Al.
I don't know where we've ever seen such numbers. Oh, that's right, yeah. So be a lot of drivers trying to get their laps back here, trying to get the wave around.
Yeah, that was the bad thing about that caution coming out when it did. I mean, a lot of guys were just doing their pit stops. Some guys hadn't. I mean, Al Kozlowski, I do believe, probably going to be having to go down pit road.
Yeah, Powell and Kozlowski have both already pitted.
So that's going to give Mark Pageant and Jeffrey Souza the lead back here.
And then everybody else will take the wave around.
Well, the thing about it, though, is Kenny Powell and Al Kozlowski are going to have newer tires than the two leaders. So that could have something, could have some effect here.
You think? I mean, they got 16. They're going to have almost 20 laps on their tires before we go green here. This thing so that's going to put them at 70 on the Delta. Yeah, that's definitely going to play a factor.
See the numbers on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, kind of what Big Al's talking about there. Mark Pageant with 17 laps on his equipment. Jeffrey Souza with 16. Greg Wyszynski, though, has 53 laps on his equipment. You see that? Wow. He is on the lead lap.
If he's got her set up for the long run, I mean, he might be exactly where he wants to be. He did kind of spin out earlier on, and I can't remember if that was with or without assistance. But, yeah, I think if you're Paget and if you're Souza right now, you are kind of scratching your head because, these guys have been so dominant here, but you're never going to be able to discount fresh tires. As the majority of the field now taking that wave around.
You know what that means. Pace car lights are out. We're going to have 50 laps to go here. This is like a stage 5, right? Because it's a 50-lap run to the end.
I mean, yeah. This is stage 5.
Here we go. Pace cars down pit road as we going to be getting the call to go back green. Mark Pageant, your leader, and he goes early.
Yeah, he stacked Powell up nice and straight there for him and then took off. Now, Powell's going to get to the inside of Souza. That's the first time he's actually been able to pull that move off all night, Brian. He has tried it 3 separate other times. So that definitely lets you know. And like you said earlier when you talked to Mark Pageant, when he did the same thing to Souza on the start of the race, well, he did it to Grease Bomb, actually. It's all about being able to make those cuts with those fresh tires.
Smoke coming off of Kenny Powell's race car. I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
Just drove into the turn just a little bit too hot there.
Saw the smoke just pouring out of that machine. I do believe probably the tires or the brakes.
Yeah, now Powell's going to get a little desperate there because if he would have just stayed there within his own head, he would have probably been okay just trying to catch Souza. I meant Paget, sorry.
Yeah, he just gave Souza that position, and now going to be probably under fire here from Al Kozlowski. Of course, Kenny, on newer tires than both of those guys, but that's not going to help the situation. That probably just maybe equalized it, wouldn't you say, for, how Mark Pageant and Souza are on 20-something lap old tires. I mean, Kenny Powell just might have taken a 10 laps out of those tires just by locking them up like that.
Oh, absolutely, man. But further back in the pack, the battle is just really heating up between the 5 of Wyszynski, Avery, and the 44 Drumheller.
Got some heavy fighting going on here. Door to door, bumper to bumper. Oh, the 5 spun into the 7. Caution's going to come back out.
No caution.
How is that not a caution as the 5 is still around? Looks like he's going to get it rolling back. We are going to stay green. How is that even possible?
I love that we were just there to see it all go down. And now the 7 of Wayne Grossi is going to be coming down pit road.
Grossi probably got a lot of damage out of that. Let's take a look back at this. You see Don Avery gets up into the 5. sends him sideways. He gets kind of messed up there with the 7 and the 48. Chris Johnson was also involved in this.
Yeah, the 7 of Grassi is the recipient of that dreaded meatball flag, so that is why he's down pit road.
You see Mark Pageant now going to be putting Greg Wychinski a lap down.
Yeah, Wychinski just, wrong place, wrong time right there. As he was like right literally in the middle of that. So looks like the 24 and the 88 just not able to make those fresh tires kind of work for him.
Yeah, definitely doesn't seem to be the case here. I mean, looking at their lap times, I mean, not running bad laps, but they're not running better laps in the top 2.
Yeah, that's kind of
disappointing.
I don't know. It's I don't know. It's quizzical.
Now 40 laps to go here. Now Mark Pageant in the best position I think he could be in. His only concern probably right now is Jeffrey Souza.
Pageant already secured his playoff spot. Souza literally is in front of the 2 guys that could challenge his.
Yeah, I think Souza's got more than enough points now that he is going to be secured into the Final 4. But then again, something could go wrong right now that could cause that to not be the case. So he is definitely a lot more comfortable, but still in danger. All it takes is one misstep. Even a misstep from Mark Pageant. If he gets sideways, takes Souza with him, imagine what that would do. Kenny Powell up in the lead. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm amazed, though, at how clean the racing has been here. There's only having 2 cautions outside of the 2 stage cautions is really pretty good for a track like Martinsville.
Oh, you're 100% right. I mean, coming into this race, I have to be completely honest with you. I was a little bit apprehensive about it as Matt DeCiani gets into the outside wall a little bit there as he's trying to run down Al Kozlowski. But I was a little bit worried. About this race. I was like, this is going to be a long one. 250 laps at Martinsville.
Hey, can we ride with DeCiani just a little bit there and kind of get an idea of what he's looking at?
It's on the screen right now as he is right there behind Al Kozlowski. Now less than 35 laps to go in this race. It's looking like Mark Pageant going to be locking himself in with a win and points. But look at DeCiani. A lot of speed through the middle and exit of the corner. But can he pass Al Kozlowski? Al is, a little bit more smoke there from Al Kozlowski.
Yeah. Well, Al kind of got bunched up there on the back of the 24 there, and that kind of caused him to check up. And that's the reason why you saw that DeCiani was actually able to close that gap so fast.
This is good news for Kenny Powell, though, that Al Kozlowski's having to deal with DeCiani. Of course, Kenny Powell is still in a must-win, but still a podium. Going to be good for his points in the Cup Series. That's one thing we got to keep in mind, too, ladies and gentlemen. Even though we have been talking nonstop about the Super Cup Series this whole race, the Cup Series is still going to be ongoing. These guys are still fighting for that championship at the same time. Now going to be 30 laps to go as DeCiani still trying to work on the 88, that Speedway Angels machine. You see, I think Al's he's going in at entry very shallow. And that's what's giving DeCiani the runs up to his back bumper.
Yeah, I think maybe he is doing that to protect his position as well. But,
Sure.
It looks like now that we're back down to 2 discernible groups here in this thing. So that's cleaned up a lot with that last caution, Brian, because otherwise we would have literally had cars all around the racetrack on different strategies. So that really made it a lot more manageable, I believe, for the 2 and the 14.
I'll tell you what, though, Kenny Powell has picked up quite a bit of speed here as he has been running down Jeffrey Souza now. Could the tires be starting to play, a factor here I know he did have that lockup earlier, but it looks like he has definitely recovered well and is starting to catch that 14. Pure willpower probably right now with that 24. Desperation.
Yeah, because he has got Keselowski is just coming back up, feeling his rearview mirror. Keselowski gets loose. That's going to allow Matt DeCiani to try to come up around. But once again, it's hard to make that pass going high like that. So DeCiani probably going to try to dive back down in there. But Keselowski was able to do just what he needed to do, stay low. But you're right, though. It does appear that the 24 is slowly closing the gap on the 14.
Yeah, he is running some really good laps right now. Kenny Powell, last time by, was a tenth faster than both of the drivers in front of him. So, and I think that does have something to do with those guys being on the newer tires. But Kenny is definitely making it working a lot better than Al is.
Yeah, Kenny was the fastest on the racetrack that last time by.
I don't know if he's going to be this time by, though, because we'll have to wait and see. He seems like he's better in certain parts of the track than the front two. He gets that time, and then he loses it again. So he just has to be consistent. That is going to be the absolute key to this. Kenny Powell has to be so precision. I mean, he has to be so precise on all the things he's doing right now with that wheel and pedals. Wouldn't you say, Big Al?
Yeah, absolutely. He has to be consistently fast. That's what the key. He's got to stay fast, but he's got to be consistently fast.
Yeah, if he starts trying to overdrive it, chasing that carrot, as I always talk about, then he's not going to be able to get up there to these guys.
Yeah, all it takes is one bobble, and that'll wipe out 4 fast laps, you know?
Oh, yeah. Especially getting those tires heated up a little too hot. Of course, we do have, I do believe, verging on now 21 laps to go when we cross the line next time by. 21 laps at Martinsville goes by so fast.
Very fast indeed, but I'm going to tell you, you can't go fast enough for the 2 of Mark Padgett and the 14 of Jeffrey Souza. These guys have literally been up front for the majority of this contest.
And this has definitely been 100% a contest. It's been a brutal battle of wills here tonight, just considering only 8 drivers are on the lead lap. We've had some drivers retire.
And had 8 drivers that come into this thing, or 7 drivers that even had any chance of making it to the round of 4 for the playoffs. And, man, I just can't wait to see how that playoff picture shapes up, as some drivers are still out there having 20 laps to decide their own fate. If ever there was go time, Brian, I think this is it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the Final Four, I do believe, if it finishes like this, Clayton Hoffman, Mark Padgett, Matt DeCiani, and Jeffrey Souza. And that's exactly the order we had when we came into this race, Big Al. So, I mean, they're the top 4 in the points for a reason. Of course, Clayton not being here, but you see it. I mean, Mark Padgett. Oh, Kenny Powell loose.
And that's what I'm talking about. That wipes out those 4 good laps.
Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if even Jeffrey Souza jumps up ahead of DeCiani. Oh, Al Keselowski on the rear end of the 24 almost turns him, but luckily I think he lifted for him. 24 definitely not having a good time.
Keselowski is doing everything he can to at least advance his position over Powell.
Looking at lap times, though, Jeffrey Souza and Mark Padgett running some of the fastest laps on the racetrack right now, even though they have a significant tire disadvantage. Top 5, though, not far from each other here. I mean, all within 2 seconds. Anything can still happen, as we're now 14 laps to go. Definitely want to give a big shout out to UXO for coming on board here, and TLC coming on board for this season. Big shout out also Oh, wow, Kozlowski loses it.
Kozlowski is into the wall. Now, that might bring out the caution. Doesn't look like it.
Smacked the wall pretty hard there.
Going to end his hopes and dreams.
Yeah, unfortunately, he does fall back to only 5th place, but he is nowhere near the top 4 now.
And he did not receive the meatball flag, which means that Speedway Angels 88 can continue. I mean, that if he would have had a repair flag, that would have definitely added insult to injury, man. But, yeah, this is a really crappy way to end your playoff hopes.
Yeah, definitely, very much so. As we now have 11 laps to go. This thing is just flying right on by. Soon it's going to be 10 laps to go. I got just enough fingers and toes to count that out.
Yeah, I always get stumped once to get past 7.
Kenny Powell not that far off of Jeffrey Souza here. He is pushing as hard as he can.
10 laps to go. Powell's trying to do everything he can to possibly get up in the P2.
It still would not help him when it comes to getting into these playoffs or into this Final Four.
He'll be closer to P1.
Yeah, that's what I think he needs to be focused on. What is he going to be willing to do to get by this 14? That's the thing.
Yeah, Greg Wachinski is going to be right up here. But I don't know if it's going to be a factor or not, as we are 8 laps to go in this thing before.
Yeah, they're definitely catching up to Greg Wachinski here. Of course, Wachinski, I do believe, passed them earlier on the longer run. He's on much older tires. Greg Wachinski has been out here for 98 laps, Big Al.
Yeah, obviously his car's set up for the long haul.
Definitely is.
And he's also running. You know, what's funny is he is still running relatively consistent laps with the leaders.
Yeah, he's not running bad at all. So I feel like he's been doing a good job of taking care of that equipment. I mean, he's fallen off to about a 21 or 20.1, which is, pretty much what these guys are running. Just a little bit slower.
Yeah, he is within a couple, 2-3 tenths of the leaders.
Now going to be 5 laps to go. Literally minutes away from determining who is going to win this race. As they catch up there to some lap traffic. Could the lap traffic have a role? I mean, this is a bad time to catch lap traffic.
I don't think he's going to be a factor, but I think if Powell overdrives it here, he could take himself out of I don't know. I don't think he has a chance to win it.
I don't know. He could. I mean, you say that lap traffic's not going to have a role, but, I mean, they're catching Wachinski pretty fast. Look at Pageant. Only a car length or 2 separates him and the 5 car. Now, if that 5 slows down Pageant, that could change a lot.
You don't want to be that guy.
You don't. But, I mean, it depends on how much do you want to help your teammate,
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. You don't even want
They're almost going side by side here in front of them.
Yeah, you don't want people to think that. 2 laps to go here.
White flag out in the air for Mark Pageant.
This does get very antsy here, folks. Wachinski goes high, takes himself out of the conversation.
Good on him. That was definitely probably the best call he could have made here. As Souza catches up to Pageant, but I don't think he's going to have enough. Mark Pageant exits turn 4 as your winner.
Mark Pageant with the hat trick.
He won every stage of this race and the race itself, and he will advance to the Final Four. Of course, Jeffrey Souza is going to finish in second. I do believe it's pretty safe to say he's going to advance also. Third place, Kenny Powell. Fourth place, I do believe, Matt DeCiani. Fifth place, Al Kozlowski. Sixth place, Mark Sanchez. Seventh place, Don Avery. Eighth place, Chris Johnson. Ninth place, Andrew Griesbaum. And rounding out our top 10 is, I do believe, Randy Drumhiller. Good job on him to get a top 10.
Yeah, let's put Darren Mullins in 11th with Greg Wachinski in 12th. Wayne Grassi comes home in 13th. Derek Jacobs 14th. Andrew Layton 15th. And Paul Olson rounds out our 16-car field. With that race in the books, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a brief step away and get another word from our sponsors. We'll be back with our post-race coverage.
Ow. Ew. Ow. Ew.
Want relief from tough pain without the tough taste? Try Goody's Cool Orange. Goody's fast, Goody's delicious. Because pain relief shouldn't be a pain to take. Goody's flavors, taking the pain out of pain relief.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel talking, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to be joined in the booth by our top three here, as they have managed to survive the gauntlet of the Goodies 250. I think everybody probably we're going to talk to probably wouldn't mind having a Goodies at this point. First person we're going to talk to, though, is our third place finisher, Kenny Powell. Definitely driving with a lot of desperation. We can kind of tell, but you were turning some really good laps there towards the end. Tell us how you're feeling.
Disappointed, but I put it out all out on the track, so I just came up short.
Yeah, you definitely did put it out on the track. I mean, and you even had a little bit of problems earlier, to where, got moved up and, kind of went a couple positions back. And, at Martinsville, whenever that happens, a lot of times you lose more than just one position. But you're able to fight back and still get a podium, even though I don't believe the points are going to look really good on you, just considering I don't believe you're going to be moving on to the championship 4. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just missed it. Well, not just missed it. Jeffrey is who I was really chasing, and Al too. And he put enough points in the stages that he put 3 more points on me in the stages. So it was a must-win for me after stage 1, stage 2, and man, so close, but yet so far. I cleared him on the restart, and thought I had a good chance, but messed up the next turn, slid up. He got under me, and it's so hard to pass here at Martinsville. I mean, you got to have a big difference in tires, and I just couldn't make it stick, and couldn't get back by him.
Now, we saw earlier in this stint to where you kind of locked them up a little bit. Saw a lot of smoke coming out of that machine. Walk us through that. Did it take a little bit for the car to recover from that?
At the start of stage 3, I didn't want, I'm not sure where in that race you were talking about, but in the start of stage 3, I didn't want to run very hard. I wanted to, it's if you save or don't save, it's not a whole lot of difference. But if you do save, there is, a little tire, that you can lean on at the end. So that was my plan. So that's why I let a couple by. But yeah, after that restart, towards the end of the race there, I was just driving it in too deep. That's what I was referring to. Carrot on the stick got me, and a couple times Jeffrey slipped up and got loose a little bit, and I followed him because trying to get it, and it wasn't there for me.
No, we knew you weren't giving positions up on purpose there. Just we saw the smoke pour out of your car like you almost had locked the brakes up or something like that. But you still managed to hold on and grab third place, and you had a lot of pace. You were running down Souza and Pageant. I mean, did you feel like hope was there?
Yeah, I never lost hope. I mean, I did look up. I can see everybody's times, and towards before the green flag pit stops. I could see that I was running some of the fastest times and fastest on the track, some laps. So I never gave hope. I felt like I had the pace, but like I said, it's so hard to pass here. Even if I caught them, I don't know what I would have been able to do with them. So I just really wish I'd have done better on that restart.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and maybe even a better qualifying effort. Just so how big was track position here tonight?
Actually, I did better with stage 1 and stage 2 than I thought I was going to, based on qualifying. So I'm not disappointed with that. I did what I thought I needed to do.
I'll tell you what, your crew did amazing.
Do, but close.
Your pit crew did you amazing too, because I saw you gain a couple spots on pit road through both stages.
Yeah, I had excellent pit stops tonight.
That you did, man. Well, moving on to the future, I know you're not going to be really fighting for a championship at Phoenix, but how you feeling about Phoenix either way? I know, still got to be trying to, get that win.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to put my same amount of effort into it. I missed the Final Four here Thursday night, but I still have a chance for it Saturday night. So definitely going to be wanting to put together that stellar car so I can maybe have something, for both of them. But if I'm able to get into the Final Four in Saturday and come off with a hot rod, then never know.
Well, we definitely wish you the best of luck there, Kenny. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Who can give a shout out to after your third place finish here tonight?
Man, our team was awesome this week. Tried a bunch of different sets and helped each other out, and I think we all had real good sets. So happy with the guys. Of course, you guys in the booth, couldn't do it without you. All of our sponsors, Butt Kicker, TLC, goodies for this race. Just making it all go around. And a good shout out to Mark and Jeffrey and Matt. That was awesome racing tonight. So and everybody that races in the league. I think this is a stellar league. I mean, how many cautions do we have? 1 or 2? I think just 1 besides the stages. So great league. Thanks everybody.
Yeah, definitely 100%, man. I mean, I was telling, during the broadcast, I was coming into this race a little apprehensive about it, but you guys did a great job. Only, like you said, had 1 caution. We had 1 close call with Greg Wachinski, but
2 calls.
Oh, okay. Well, still, wasn't hardly anything to really bat an eye about. It was purely racing out there. We saw green flag pit stops at Martinsville. Imagine that. But next up, we're going to have Jeffrey Souza, our second place finisher, and we have Big Al going to be talking to him.
Hey, Jeffrey, this is Big Al up at the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Al. How's it going?
Man, pretty good. You definitely had a rocket ship under you tonight, man. So talk us to that, man. How many laps did you put in getting this thing dialed in?
Yeah, so personally, Martinsville is not one of my better tracks. We saw Homestead, obviously, last week was my worst track, hands down. But Martinsville, usually not one of my best tracks, but I was able to jump in Sunday night, and we probably ran at least 300, 400 laps Sunday, and then I put in another couple hundred this afternoon before the race with the less fuel. So it's good that we were this fast. Obviously, Mark was up there the whole race, and I had some struggle in qualifying, but once I got up there, I pretty much stayed there too. So it was definitely fast tonight.
Did you find that the 75% fuel definitely affected the car?
The setup that we have under it tonight, at least the one I was running tonight, it did, only because it was pretty close to the ground as it was. So once we changed the fuel limit there, it was kind of scraping a little bit more than I really needed it to. So one of the stops there, I did end up making a tire pressure and cross adjustment just to get the car up a little bit more. And it did help me long run, but Mark was able to just always have that about two car lengths on me every lap, and good job to him.
Yeah, you didn't actually get a chance to run out in the clean air a lot tonight because Mark was just up there hogging the lead. But, you definitely ran out front for the majority of the evening. So did you actually could you tell a benefit of the clean air versus the dirty air? It's a two-part question. And what about lap traffic once your tires got older?
Well, I think it would have to be a here or there kind of situation with if I would have gotten in front of him, could I held him off? I think our cars were, pretty even, especially on the long runs there. So I think if whichever one of us got out front, I think was going to hold off the other. As we saw in that long run when we had the pit stops, we had about 2.5 on the group behind us. So I think it would have been interesting to see if I could have gotten out front, but like I said, he had the track position and used it. And then once we were in traffic there, it was kind of just how much room did the lap traffic give you. If they gave you enough room there, it was not that big a deal. But if some of them pinched you a little, you kind of had to really watch it coming off. But otherwise, the guys that were getting lapped gave us a good amount of room and didn't put us in any scary situations.
Did you ever even consider taking two tires there on that last stop?
Funny you say that. I was practicing this afternoon and I ran about a 60 lap run, and I took two and it helped. And I was like, oh, this is going to work. This is going to be good. That's going to be my plan. But once we got in here to fall off, I was falling off about 0.3 more in this session than I was earlier today. So at that point, if we would have had like a, 20 lap run to the finish and I could jump to the lead and get a good jump on a restart, I probably would have done it. But I think that last run we had ended up being about 60 laps on my tires. I think it just would have been way too many laps.
All right. Well, I think we talked last week, and I asked you for a bold prediction. Next week we're headed to Phoenix, so we've got Martinsville out the way. You got Homestead out the way. What are we thinking for Phoenix? Where's it at on your fun meter?
Well, we knew we were going to have a fast car here tonight. We're usually really good at the flat, hardly any banking, low grip tracks. So same thing with Phoenix. Every time we go to Phoenix, Brandon Pierce and the group are able to get something that is a complete rocket ship. So I'm really looking forward to Phoenix. I don't know if I'm going to be up there contending with Clayton, and I know I think Clayton and Mark were pretty much the ones to beat the first time there earlier this year. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a good car. We'll just have to see how the race goes.
But you're going to have to be up there mixing it up with the big boys. You're in the round of 4. Congratulations to that, by the way. But, you don't get so many whacks at it once it gets down to just the 4 of you. So I think you're going to have to make Phoenix work, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to have to put some extra laps in and get the best car we can to go out there and try our best.
I'll tell you what, man. Hopefully we'll be talking to you next week on the podium as well. Man, before we let you go, who you shouting out this week?
So, biggest thing I got to dedicate tonight to Jimmy. We know him as Jimmy over in the 100% league, or Corbin. He was a good relative of a really good friend and former teammate, Dustin Hall. Sadly lost his battle with a very rare child cancer last night. So put his stuff on the car tonight and really seemed like he was on board with me all night long, helped me through traffic, and then getting me to the finish line.
Well, man, our hearts and prayers are go out to all of you guys at your time of loss. Congratulations again for that P2 finish, man. Sorry you're driving with a heavy heart, but it seems like you had a little angel on your shoulder. So hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for doing everything you do.
All righty, that was Jeffrey Souza, our second place finisher. Next up, Mark Pageant, able to utterly dominate this race, won stage 1, stage 2, and the race itself. You had some tough customers right there behind you. Jeffrey Souza, of course, he was a teammate. Were you ever worried at any point? I asked you this before. I mean, were you ever worried that he might would try to pass you?
Yeah, actually, he said we were pretty even on the long run. I think he might have had a little better car on the long run, but yeah, like you were saying, track position I think was huge. Clean air was huge. I could really tell a difference when we caught a lapped car. Um, Jeff would close up to me, and Kenny or Matt or whoever was in third would close in on him. So I really think it was just track position that let me stay up there.
Well, that's definitely interesting. But so you were able to, qualify well, take that lead early. That definitely had a big part of it. But I mean, you still were able to pull away like no one else until Sousa got up there to you. Definitely a great job for sure. I mean, I know you probably saw Kenny Powell starting to come into the picture here. I mean, when a man's in desperation mode, were you scared that maybe someone would do something that maybe be untoward?
I was. Kenny would have started third right behind me if we got a caution. So I was really worried about a caution. Um, because a spot in the championship four next to last race of the season, I don't know what people would do. So it was in the back of my mind for sure.
Well, I know that you kind of came into this race, pretty comfortable, and of course, this win's going to easily lock you in points and for the win itself. You got to be feeling pretty good about it. I mean, man, conquering Martinsville in this car has got to be an accomplishment for you because this place is not easy.
No, it's not. I'm going to echo what Kenny said here because this is my third or fourth race this week, and usually they've been wreckfest. I mean, people have no respect for each other, but this truly is a great league. To only have 2 cautions over half a race length, I mean, I think they'll have more cautions in the road race this weekend than we had here. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great league. No wrecks. People had respect. They were racing with respect out there, and that let me control my own destiny instead of introducing all the chaos that usually happens here at Martinsville.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty chill Martinsville race for sure. Got to see, just the racers kind of shine in a lot of ways. Well, Phoenix might be a whole different story. I mean, we're going to have 4 drivers all competing for a championship. Where do you fit in?
Well, I think it's Clayton is the definite favorite, and then the rest of us. So we will see what Clayton shows up with. We had a good car Triad did back in the spring when we were there. So hopefully, I know we've gone through a tire change and a build change on this car since then, but hopefully that will still apply, and we can go out there and have a good run. But as a driver, it's one of my better tracks. So if we get a good setup, maybe I'll have a shot.
Yeah, I remember. I think we've seen you do very well in the spring whenever you were here. I know you led some laps there for sure and had a great finish. But hopefully you'll have the same thing here. Definitely to get working on it right now because you don't got a whole lot of time left here. That's for sure. Because I mean the championship looms.
Yeah, yes, it does. Tune in next week. We'll see. Hopefully, we put on a good show and we can give Clayton a run for his money for the championship.
100%. Well, that 0-2 has been looking great all season. Who can we give a shout out to after the win here in the Goodies 250?
Yeah, just our team. Triad's been fast all year. Thanks to Brandon specifically, he put a lot of time into this set. And everyone else on the team, Jeff Barnes, Jeff Souza, everyone really pitches in throughout the week on these sets. So thanks to the team and thanks to our sponsors, Stint Analyzer. It's a great program. If you don't know what it is, Google it. It's essential for comparing yourself and taking notes. And Souza Media, our other sponsor. Without them, it wouldn't be possible.
All right, Mark. Well, congratulations once again on such a dominating race, winning every stage and the race here. It's the hat trick in a lot of ways, and you took care of business. Congratulations, and we'll see you at Phoenix, man, for a championship, hopefully.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
That was Mark Pageant, our winner here tonight for the Goodies 250, and what a race it was. I mean, Martinsville, not known for going clean and green, but we definitely saw that here this evening, and definitely a nice follow-up to Homestead last week, because I remember Homestead, we actually went green the entire time, And I even said, I think a couple times last week about, oh, we're just going to pay that into Martinsville, but we really didn't. So, what's Phoenix going to look like? I'm curious to see it. I think that ISCA just a clean and green type of race where everybody are racing to where everybody kind of respects each other. What do you think, Big Al?
Yeah, I definitely have to echo the sentiments of everybody that spoke before me, because it was an awesome race, and we were both anticipating there being a lot of cautions, short track racing, kind of beating and banging, but that was not the case, man. This thing, it stayed clean and green for the majority of the race. It even allowed us to get to see my favorite green flag pit stops. So hopefully we'll take this momentum at least into the Saturday night race, and maybe even a little bit more into next week, as we will be wrapping up one of these championships. Somebody's going to win a championship. That's all I know.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, we're still going to be doing the regular Cup Series, so there's still going to be a whole lot of racing for that on top of it. So the action never stops here at ISCA, and we appreciate everybody out there tuning in. We'll catch you on, I do believe, Saturday, same time, same place, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the broadcast starts. A little after that, we will be starting the race at 9:30. Probably about 5 minutes, give or take, difference there, but definitely looking forward to it. And if you want to see the championship race for this particular series, tune in on Thursday, same time, same place. We appreciate everybody out there tuning in.